What's up, guys? Venomousfatman here, and I got a brand new OTGT for you. This time I'm talking about a game that's been out for quite a while now, but I got a chance to actually pick up the Game of the Year edition for this game, and I actually got some time to actually sit down and play it. I'm talking about Batman Arkham Asylum. As you guys can see here, show you guys right there, show you the back. Okay, it's what you guys can't see on here, but I'm able to look at, it's kind of hard to show on the camera, is that the cover for this version of the game has almost a holographic image or illusion of 3D space for the actual, packaging for this, both on the front and the back, which I think is pretty cool. So, to talk about the game first before I get into the whole extras with the Game of the Year edition, this game is awesome, okay? This is by far the best superhero game I have ever played, period. This is better than the original Spider-Man games that were for the PlayStation 1 and for the Nintendo 64, okay? This game is awesome. This is probably... It very comes close to being much better than Maximum Carnage for the Sega Genesis, and that's saying a lot. And the reason why is this. It's because, number one, this is a game that actually gets the character of Batman right. This really takes everything that is supposed to be about dark and scary and mysterious and suspenseful about Batman and really put it on steroids. One of the things I remember reading an article about this is that one of the inspirations and a lot of the stuff that they got and took from another game was Metroid Prime, where they kind of, looked at the exploration factors and all the other kind of like principles of what that game was built upon and actually applied it to this game, which I'm very happy and very pleased to. Now, it's not the same type of game. Don't get me wrong, okay? There's, it's not just kind of like a first-person shooter or anything like Metroid, but what is similar is the exploration factor of how you're going through the entire island of where Arkham Asylum is and checking out all the cool stuff. Now, that being said, the graphics are amazing. Okay, I'm very surprised that they got Batman and a lot of his rogues gallery and characters to look this good on this generation of console. Because back then, before this game came out, a lot of people didn't even think it was very possible for someone to actually make a good superhero game that was right for the character, and this totally proved everybody wrong. So, one thing I think is pretty cool besides that, the way, going on top of how good these characters look and the environment looks, is the bosses. I have to say that this is probably some of the best renditions of any of Batman's rogues gallery I've ever seen. Some of my favorites, I love Poison Ivy because she's Poison Ivy. The Joker looks awesome. Bane looks cool. Killer Croc looks amazing. The most interesting and yet weird, interpretation of what is one of Batman's villains is probably, in my opinion, Scarecrow, because I've never seen in any comic book or cartoon or whatnot where Scarecrow actually had a glove with actual needles, kind of like hypodermic needles on his hands and stuff, and I thought that was pretty cool. It was a little Freddy Krueger-esque, kind of like a little nod, I guess, or a little pull from Freddy Krueger, but it actually worked very well, and it worked well with the rest of like how he actually, interacts with Batman and the rest of the game, so I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty much, I have to say there is not really a lot that I could really complain about with this game. The only thing that maybe might turn a couple people off if you haven't already tried this game is that it could get a little bit repetitive in the fighting, and sometimes the fighting could get a little bit on the easy side, especially as you get more later on towards the end of the game, especially when you've gotten all the upgrades and all the different moves you can unlock and stuff like that. But overall, you're getting a top-notch quality package with this game because there's just so much stuff to explore. There's so much nods to different Batman mythology, especially from the comics and stuff. Any Batman fan or any fan of the comics that's been a Batman fan for many, many years is going to find something with this game that's going to make them have a nerdgasm, which is amazing. What I thought was cool is that even though you don't necessarily fight certain villains in there are certain villains that are big-name villains that actually make appearances in there, or at least make their presence felt. I'm referring to probably the biggest example of this is the Riddler. The Riddler actually has you, collect these different kind of like trophies and solve these different riddles throughout, Arkham Asylum, wherever you're like traveling around and stuff, and you actually get achievements and PSN trophies for that. But on top of that, for finding those things, you actually discover and learn about new things about either him or other characters or little different things, and he actually talks to you via Batman's actual comlink when he's talking to someone called Oracle, which was originally Batgirl, but for anybody that doesn't know. But it's really cool. But besides him, you also get a chance to see other villains. You actually get to see Clayface, but even though it's not explicitly Clayface right from the get-go, what you do is you actually see him in your cell, and he's actually mimicking other characters in the game. Like he turns into Commissioner Gordon, he turns into some of the other, was it the actual president or the chairman of Arkham Asylum there. He actually takes on all these little guys every time you turn the camera away from him. And when you look on the side of where it is, even though the guy's screaming like, listen, let me out, get me out of here, I don't belong here, look on the side, it says, warning, prisoner will actually imitate other people. Okay, just be forewarned. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then when you actually scan him using detective mode, which is this mode kind of like how the visor is from Metroid, but with detective mode you actually see things in more detail. It actually identifies him as Clayface, and you actually get a kind of a Riddler kind of challenge for that, a Riddler kind of like, a little clue in there, which I thought is cool. There are other nods too. You actually get to see Mr. Freeze, even though he's not initially in the game. You actually see him solidified in a block of ice, behind a cell, and it actually says Victor Freeze on there, which I thought was pretty cool. There's some other nods to Two-Face. There's more Riddler stuff, and there's all these other references to other characters all over the place, which I think is awesome. Oh, and by the way, I should mention, this is probably the best original design for the Batmobile I have seen in many years, because I love the 1989 Batmobile. I thought that was probably, and also the one from Batman the Animated Series, because they were so similar. I thought that Batmobile looked the most badass out of any rendition. Even up to Nolan's, was it Batmobile the Tumbler? I thought the 1989 one was so cool, and this one has kind of like a little flair and nod to it, but it's got its own original stuff and original like style and look to it, and I thought it looked amazing. So just throwing that out in there. But on top of that, before I kind of close this off, I should mention that since this is the Game of the Year edition, what are some of the extras you get with this? And there's some pretty good ones. What I found most interesting is that you could play this game in 3D. Now, not necessarily that the game is actually made for 3D. I don't think it was initially intended to be. But with the Game of the Year edition, when you purchase it, you actually get 2 3D glasses inside of it. And you have the option inside the game to actually put on this filter where it actually, play the entire game in 3D. Pretty much plain and simple on any TV, too. It doesn't have to be a 3D-enabled TV. Well, I tried it for maybe about an hour or so, or maybe a little bit less. And to be honest with you, it's not so much that things are coming out at you from the screen, but things are getting pushed into the screen, where the actual illusion of depth and the things that are pushed far back is much more greatly enhanced. Now, honestly, it doesn't really add much to the game, and in all honesty, at some point I was like, you know what, I just don't feel like dealing with this, because it kind of did get kind of annoying wearing the actual 3D glasses and stuff, and on top of that, it really served no purpose, so I kind of just threw it to the side. But it's a nice little addition if you want to check out something different, or maybe see some of your favorite scenes of the game in there, like, if you have like other saves and stuff, go there, check it out, and actually look around. You can see all, maybe, for example, like a boss fight in much more like a 3D enhanced vision, or different type of like look on things. But overall, it's okay. It's a nice welcome addition. I don't think maybe, it's not such a thing to make such a big deal about, because like I said, it doesn't really throw anything much more into the game. On top of that, you also get, 4 different extra maps, challenge maps, for actually playing, with Batman or any of the other characters. I know it's not like on PlayStation Network you actually get to play as the Joker. I don't think so. Not in here. It doesn't say that. I think that was only the PS3 exclusive. But you actually get these 4 extra challenge maps that allow you to actually gain points and experience and stuff, and actually put your high scores up on Xbox Live, unlock different stuff like that. It's a nice welcome addition. It doesn't really, significantly impact, but it's nice as, since it's another version of the game that that people haven't bought yet, or have bought a second copy of it. It's nice to throw a little something extra in there, even though it's not a significant change. I would have rather had it a significant change, but you get what you get. But either way, this game is amazing. I suggest anybody at some point should at least play this game at least once. It's really good. Best superhero game on the market, period, to date. It's going to be very hard to top this one off. I know there's a Batman Arkham City in the works, which is pretty much the direct sequel to this, where pretty much instead of just being in Arkham Asylum, you're going to be in Gotham City, where a whole bunch of stuff is going down and stuff, and the storyline is kind of, being kind of, continued on from what happened in the events of this game. So I'm really looking forward to that after playing through this. I think it's awesome. That's my thoughts, guys. You definitely should play this. Leave it for comments and video responses. I don't mind. Just keep it civil. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Venomous is out. That was only the goddamn truth. Enjoy your day, people. Take it easy.